Hi, my name is Angela. I'm a student physical therapist assistant, and today I'm going to be performing some goniometric measurements of the cervical spine. The first measurements we're going to take is of cervical flexion and extension. So cervical flexion and cervical extension. We need our patient sitting upright and sitting straight, looking straight ahead. The fulcrum of the goniometer is going to go over the external auditory meatus, and the stationary arm is going to go perpendicular to the floor. We're going to align our movable arm with the base of the nares. I'm going to have the patient move into cervical flexion. Can you put your chin down, please, as far as you can go? Let me realign here. So, base of the nares. So I have her measured at, hold on just a minute. I've got 60 degrees, no, I'm sorry, that's 50 degrees of cervical flexion. And now for cervical extension, we're going to have her looking straight ahead again, realign the goniometer, fulcrum over the external auditory meatus, and the stationary arm perpendicular to the floor, movable arm base of the nares, have her go into cervical extension. Can you put your head back? Realign the goniometer. Line it up base of the nares. And for this measurement, I have 47 degrees of cervical extension. All right, so now the measurements we're going to take are cervical lateral flexion. And what we do is first I'm going to put her through the range. So we have lateral flexion to the left, lateral flexion to the right. We align the fulcrum of the goniometer over C7 spinous process. And if it's hard to find, you can have them go into cervical flexion. Can you put your chin down a little bit for me? Okay, so I have it right here. Can you look up straight ahead, please? So fulcrum over C7. We have our stationary arm, which is going to go along the line of the spinous processes of the thoracic vertebrae. And we're going to align the movable arm with the occipital protuberance. All right, so here I am. All right, and now I'm just going to have her go into left lateral flexion of the cervical spine. So can you put your left ear down to your left shoulder? Feel for that. All right, so I have her at 40 degrees of left lateral flexion of the cervical spine. All right, so the next one and the last one we're going to do is for cervical rotation. So what we do is we move the patient, we have them sitting in a chair, looking straight ahead, have them move them through the range of cervical left rotation, cervical right rotation. And so let me get up on a stool so I can have a better vantage. All right, so what we do is the fulcrum is going to go over the center of the top of the skull, and the stationary arm is going to go in an imaginary line through the acromion processes, and the movable arm goes down the midline of the nares. Get this here. All right, and so what I'm going to have her do is rotate her head to her left. So can you go ahead and do that for me, please? Now I'm going to realign the goniometer. All right, so for this motion, I have, go ahead, you can go back, 67 degrees of left cervical rotation. And those are all the measurements I have today. Thank you.